from. I'm gonna be in and out and asking questions since we're all parents here. We're gonna be looking at it from different angles. And so help us God. Mommy Elberta, God bless you, ma. Mommy Elberta is a grandma. So, and she's a minister, she's a reverend, she's a bishop, and I'm sure she's done a lot of counseling. So she'll be able to confirm some things as we go along the way. Thank you, Pastor Stephen, for joining us tonight. Is a father. It's going to be a grandfather very soon.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Amen. Eventually, all in God's time.
Amen. And it's also into fathering. So when we're doing parenting and fathering, they're all in total. Okay, so what do we mean when we talk about parenting? Parenting a child is rearing. When you talk about a man and a woman having children, it could be your biological children. And then you don't also have, they don't also have getting a lot of echo from Brother Different.
Hello, you okay?
You want to mute yourself? Thank you. You know, you could parent even other people's children. Like I have stepchildren. The fact that you are able, to give support, physical support, spiritual support, emotional support, social support, spiritual, and help with their cognitive development, from infancy to adulthood. You are a parent. No, you are not a parent because they are not your children. You are not their parent, but you are parenting them. So there's being a parent and there's parenting. I don't know if that's clear. You are a parent because why you have a child, but your parenting is also a skill. A skill that is bringing up a child, rearing a child, bringing them up, nurturing them, teaching them, giving them discipline, boundaries, setting boundaries, and teaching them, supporting them physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, helping their cognitive development until their adulthood and they can fend for themselves. Okay. When we talk about parenting again, we have different methods of parenting. Before I go into that, I want to talk about, I was just meditating about it this morning and it came to my head, the three letter, the word learn. Learn, learn, and learn. In life, we learn a lot of things. And for we as adults, before we became adults, before we are where we are now, we've learned things all the way, all our lives. Whatever we are today is from what we have learned. And children start learning even right from the womb. They learn. And then while we learn from the womb, we learn from our parents, we learn from school, we learn from our neighborhood, we learn from our surroundings. Okay? And then you learn again, meaning that you cannot teach yourself some things. You can choose to learn, get more information. You can choose to want to know. You can choose not to remain where you are. Develop yourself, you're still learning. And then the third learning is you can unlearn some things. Perhaps there are some attributes we've picked up from our parents, from our, community, from life, some habits, and we've come to realize this is not the best thing in life. You can unlearn it. So you're learning, and you can unlearn. All right, so as parents, what are we teaching our children? What are we impacting in their life? What is our parenting skills? And when we also talk about learning and teaching our children, the first stage and the first place we learn from is our parent. Before any other thing, before any other place. And the first person that actually teaches you anything in life is your mother. I was doing a study this early hours of today. It was yesterday actually. And when I was studying, it now made me to remember that what I was actually studying has happened to me. When I was pregnant with my second son, I was always thinking and meditating so much that even when I'm sleeping, it was that bad. When I'm sleeping, I'm sighing, deep breath. deep breath, man. And sometimes my sister will wake me like, hey, wake up. Why are you sighing so much in your sleep? So my mind was traveling so much. And guess what? My son does the same thing. Now, he will wake up this morning now and he will tell you, Mommy, what are we going to do for Christmas? I'm like, hey, Christmas is still far. Why are you bothered about Christmas? It thinks ahead. You know, just those things I was doing when I was pregnant. And sometimes you ask him to do the dishes, he's doing the dishes 1 minute and it freezes and it's gone. You're wondering, I won't even call this one work sleepy now. Is it daydreaming? And then, hey, get back here. Where are you gone? You say, oh, I was just thinking about something. And I'm like, what's this? I didn't know until yesterday that he learned that from me unconsciously. So when we are pregnant or when your wife is pregnant, whatever happens around your woman, your wife, the mother of your children, when they are pregnant or when you are pregnant, it's very, very important. If all you have around you is violence, the baby in you is going to pick up from it. Either they're going to be scared, they're hearing noises, they're hearing fighting, or the mother is smoking. If the mother is smoking, the child is smoking. Whatever is coming into the mother, physically, emotionally, the baby within is picking from it. So children learn from that age. And then this child comes around and we begin to imagine, oh, this child is naughty, this child is doing this child is bad. I want to start slapping and beating the child all around. You know, I'm just bringing it out for us to just think about that. And then I want to go back into parenting. What does our children expect from us? We've established parent and parenting, being able to nurture, to guide, to teach your child. Now, who will be able to tell me more? What are the skills we need as a parent to be able to parent our children well? Anyone at all? You can unmute yourself. What are the skills we need? Pastor Stephen says learning is an ongoing process, consciously and unconsciously. What we then do with the learning is up to us, 100%, sir, 100%. What are the parenting skills we have learned? We are learning. Anybody wants to help out? We're all parents here. Come on, don't leave me on alone. Brother Mike, you have boys, so Grandma Elbert, Mommy Okiki. Parenting skills. It's not fair.
Come on, guys, say something. Don't leave us sister on lunch.
I think you.
God bless you, ma.
You said it all.
I'm not even started, though.
You said it all, Prometheus, to be honest with you. I was
Tell me,
like,
what are the parenting skills you used?
There are so many. The thing is, it's not a one cap fits all, to be honest with you. The way I was brought up, no one can bring up a child like that without going to prison. No, no. God. You'll be done for a child, whatever, you know what, they'll just throw the book at you. So that's why I said, okay, oh God, and you know, children are, divers in everything. Okay, the way even twins, you know, they differ in character and everything, you know. But let me just generalize this, you know, the parental responsibility for, you know, either for separated parents or they stay together, does it really matter, you know? It's you know, it's easy and it's not easy. To be honest with you, and only God can bring up a child, in the ways that of God. Because sometimes, you strive, bringing up your child and everything, and it blows back,
Mm,
in your
mm,
face, and you like, and in our society, we are like, it's easy for us to, apportion blame. Oh no, where's
mm,
this child from? This and that. And to be honest, have you asked, how far the parents, have gone, to
mm,
actually, how they strive for this child to come out good. I
mm,
think we tend to have left that side of wherever, and we just this child, yeah, no. Now the first thing is koleko. Oh yeah. Like, we refer back to the, to the parents and everything. Yes, as a child, I mean, as a parent, you provide a home for your child till they are like of age. You've mentioned that. You protect them, in everything that they do. You make them your best friend. We need to be approachable, to our children, so they can come to us when when the street is not right.
mm,
But if we are not approachable and we leave all the parenting to Google, believe me,
mm,
there's so much Google can teach them, and before you know it, PM, that
mm.
child is in the street and everything. May God forbid,
Mm.
just pray for every parent going through one trauma or the other because of their children. I just pray for them that God will, help them. We all need help,
Mm.
from God raising up a child. It's not an easy task. But if your child comes out good, then you can boast about it. Oh yes, this is my child.
Mm.
That is my child talking. But if it's the other way around, then you like, okay, permit me to say this in Yoruba, ẹni tí kòkó ẹ̀ yè, òun ló
Mm.
mọ̀ ọ́ lọ. Yeah, it's not, okay, all right. I think prophetess will interpret that, in English. So, and as a parent, we have to ensure that our child is supported financially, yes, either they have parental responsibility or not. The still is not. That's why I said in the olden days when I was growing growing up, I don't have a penny to my name. I
Mm.
I have to go to my parents and everything. But the thing is, these days, even a 15-year-old can say, yes, I've saved up to
Mhm,
1,700
mhm,
pounds. So, okay, I'll come, this and that, they are like, they want to, I don't really know what's going on with the children of these days, but we can't really blame them because technology, every day, advances, technology advances, and the brains of these children, man. So you can't really keep up, So there's so many we can, the rights, the duties, the power, the authority, everything, it's all in there. It's out there. It's out there. It's out there. But the thing is, sometimes when you, yes, we should have listening skills,
thank
and
you.
these skills must start from home. Okay. I mean, if you're unapproachable and your child can't talk to you, it will go to the aunties out there. Aunties on one, brothers on you. They'll go out there
To
and
go to
they'll teach
anything
them
they
what.
see.
God help us. God help us. They
Mhm,
are out there, honestly. And God forbid, before you know it, that child starts noise diving. He or she becomes clamming, withdrawn to themselves and everything. I mean, a parent that comes home from meeting who drank his or herself to a stopper, vomiting and the child had to, you know, pack the vomit and everything. I know, yes, we all have our, you know, different addiction, wherever it is, but we have to think of the child first. We have to think what benefit the child first, you know, before. So I'll just stop there because I can talk for London. Let me just
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's to contribute. Yeah.
Thank you, ma. God bless you, ma. Mommy's gone up and down into my book and picked here and there. And thank you so much for that contribution. From the things Mommy said, I'm going to pick one or two things where we are coming from. Where we are coming from. That is what we know. That is what we've learned. You know, but I believe that we can still unlearn some things and we can keep learning. Parenting skill is not limited to only what I know. There is a popular saying we all say, I actually say it as well, but I can't say it anymore now because I know better, which is parenting has no book. Nobody has a manual for parenting, which is true. I mean, we know how to be a doctor, you have a manual. To be a teacher, you went to school, you got a degree, you know. But I think at the stage we are now, and the way things are going, parenting should be taken seriously. Parenting is a full-time job. Thank you for joining, ma'am. Sister Toyin, God bless you, ma'am. It's a full-time job. We should begin to get degrees for parenting. We should go to school and learn, you know, what it means to parent a child. And in that process, we can learn new things. And in that process, we can unlearn some things. Now, I like what Mommy said, if they beat you, then you sisters, you know. Yes, I've been like that. Pastor Stephen has cautioned me once, like, if I see that again, that's what I have learned. That is what I know. But I know better. And I did not just know better because I went to Google or because somebody taught me. I learned even from experience. So we also learned from what our parents have taught us, from what we see in the community, and then from our own personal experience. And some of us have come to realize that this beating is not even doing anything. And we've tried different approaches, different techniques, different methods. So who is writing all this down? Maybe I'm challenging myself to do a book. Who is writing all this thing down? I've learned so much, even with my children. Okay, I've tried this, it's not working. Okay, let's do this. I tried that, it's not working. All right, let's do this. And then it comes to the point, okay, now let us reason together as the Bible says. Let's talk. What's going on? And then you begin to hear a lot of things your children tell you. If you give them room to talk, you will hear a lot. You know, so we have learned, we are still learning, and we can unlearn. But the greatest thing is our mind open? Are we willing to learn? Are you ready to learn? Or it's about, this is the way our parents taught us, the African method is the best, and we are going to stick to that, and nobody can change me. I'm an African man, I'm an African woman, and that is it. A lot of people believe to parent a child, from some of the things Mommy said, provide for their daily bread, give them protection in the home, and then they go to school, they come back, they eat, they live in a good house, and their parenting ends. No, ma, no, sir. That is just 2% of parenting. That's why I say it's a full-time job. Now, while I'm lucky, I've talked about relationships so much, this and that, what do I talk about? What do I do? What do I say? What do I do? And then the Lord just brought the word into my head, parenting. I said, okay, I wrote it down straight away. Even as tired as I was, I just did the leaflet. I have no clue what I was going to do. But then I started studying, and I was discovering so much. And in the process of studying, I began to understand some of the things my children even do. You know, so we can learn. I am challenging every parent. Develop yourself, learn more, and then get more information, get more knowledge. And some things can be unlearned. Raising your voice, where has you gotten into with your children? You can unlearn. And in the process of things, what have your children been through that you don't even know? They can't tell you. You don't even have time to talk to them, so they're not going to tell you. Or even the ones you talk to them, I feel, I don't want to upset mommy, I don't want to upset daddy, I'll keep it to myself. And at some point, they will react on those things. And then you like, why is she or why is he reacting this way? But you don't know the foundation of the problem they have. I'm deviating. Let me go back. I'm going to read more what Mommy Elbete wrote here. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Going biblical, Ephesians 6:4. As a parent, you have the responsibility to tend to your children's spiritual growth and education. We are a child's first witnesses to the gospel. Sharing Jesus is our most important duty. Nurture them in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Thank you, ma. And then discipline, we can break it down. How do we discipline? Is it by beating? Is it by sending them to not a corner? Is it by allowing natural consequences? I don't have time I don't know. Probably going to do sections, consequences and all that. We are stewards, but just because we don't own our children doesn't mean we don't have responsibility for their well-being. If it's your job to care for something or someone you don't own, then you are a manager or a steward. And that's why I explained the other time that being a parent is different from parenting. You can be a parent and yet you don't have any parenting skill. You might not be a parent, a direct mother or a father to a child, and yet you are able to parent that child properly. There's more here from Mommy. Moreover, if your primary responsibility as a parent is to be a good steward of your children, then you need to treat the position with the reverence it is due. God has high standards for stewards, and he will hold you accountable. And also, you have a responsibility to care for your children's emotional well-being. Their emotions matter, and here is an added benefit. Kids will feel good, act good. Treating your children with gentleness helps them stay responsive to instructions and correction. But always correct in love. You are responsible for providing for your children's physical needs. This means providing food, water, shelter, clothing, and more. Sometimes this means you must give up your own wants and needs to provide adequately, sacrifices. But if anyone doesn't provide for his own, and especially his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. God doesn't want you to focus on a set of rigid rules, styles, or procedures. He is a father who wants a relationship with you. He wants you to keep seeking, asking him for his presence. So if the Lord is wanting a relationship with you, how much more you with your children? Our Heavenly Father is the greatest example we have. So, and God will, even when you commit all the sins and all the things you've done, God will still say, come, let us reason together. God is always available to talk to you and wants you to talk back. So if our Heavenly Father wants that relationship, how much more we and our earthly children? Thank you so much. God bless you, ma, for that. Anybody wants to jump in before I go into the 4 types of parenting skills?
Thank you. Bless you, everybody participating, contributing. Can I just say, you said, yes, Dupe, you said parenting, and I quote, is a full-time job.
Yes,
Who
sir.
told you that? Where'd you get that notion from?
Because it's not a full-time job, but it should be a full-time job.
Okay. I'm just being facetious. What I'm really want to say is it's not a full-time job at all. It's a lifetime experience.
Ah,
Okay. Because you can't turn it off,
mm-mm.
or you can try, but once you become a parent and you decide that you're going to parent, you parent. You don't say, okay, because your job, because when you distinguish between a job and a lifetime experience, that's what I saw, a lifetime goal. Because a job, you can decide, I not do it again. Parenting, if you
Okay, I see
decide
the
that
angle now.
what I'm going to turn away, we've seen the result of that. We've seen the result of so many people that have decided that I've brought this child into the world, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not. No, shirk your responsibility, and you expect to get blessed. Then when things begin to happen, we start running to church, we start running to mosque, we start running to some higher power somewhere when we have shirked our responsibility, male and female. I was chatting with one lovely guy this week who was telling me about he is one of 16 children. And his mum he's the only one from his mum. Dad all over the place, having children here, there, and everywhere. Where's the sense of responsibility as a parent? So we have a sense of responsibility for life. It's just that it changes as you go along in life, from when they're newborn to when they're toddlers to when they come into their teens to when they're adults to when they move out. It's a lifetime experience, not just a job.
Thank you very much for that, sir. So when I said it should be a job, especially when you talk about from the age one to 5, this is from my experience, this is my opinion. Back then when we were growing up, or not even when we were growing up, maybe in the age of Pastor Stephen and further down, in Africa or in Nigeria, where we come from, wives used to be full-time housewives, and the men were out there bringing in the food, which was a method that was working, because the child needs time. You need enough time with the children, not just bath the child, dress the child, give the child food, send the child to school. There is much more. And there's something called bonding, attuning. The child needs to attune to you. You need to attune to the child. There needs to be that bonding. And I've come to realize this is practicality. And this is something I have seen live. Any child who loses that bonding within the first 2 years, they grow up to develop a lot of mental issues. This is not book now. It's book, it's written. When we talk about book, these are experiences they've gathered together and they've written up. They are hypotheses, they are theories that have been tried and has been written down. And I can confirm, I have seen it. Probably when the child was growing up, he spent half of his time in the minder's house or in another person's house, and the child is not really attuning or bonding to you. You don't know what the minder is doing to the child. You don't know what the child is picking up from there. And then when the child grows up and you begin like, why are you not here? Why are you this? Why are you that? You don't know the core. Or why is the child aggressive? Or why the child withdrawn? You don't know. You can't know. You can't understand it. Because why the first 2 years of their life, they should be with you 24/7. So when we talk about parenting, before you want to become a parent, are we ready? Are you ready? We've all done, we don't know better. We don't know better. And then we bring our children into this world and they go through a lot. We make them go through a lot. And then we end up having repeated cycles of issues, of mental issues. In Africa, we don't believe in mental issues. But they are there, right? Looking at us right in our faces. The only thing we call them is the child is rude, the child is stubborn, the child is stone-hearted. But when we come to this part of the world, they will be able to tell you, maybe the child has PTSD or anxiety. They'll be able to break it down to you that this child has a mental issue. So what have we learned that needs to be unlearned? And what do we need to learn as parents? I'll go quickly to, am I looking at the time? The 4 major types of parenting, because every parenting style we use on our children, in bringing up our children, it will, in supporting them, it will show, it will affect them, it will help them, and it will shape what they will become in life. So we have the one that is called the authoritarian kind of parents. We have the authoritative one, we have the permissive one, and we have the unevolved one. Okay, I'm going to see if I can jump them. Let me see if I can jump them. The authoritarian parent is the one, is like the soldier. My word is my final say. Don't do this, don't go there, go to your room, come back, sit down, it ends there. The authoritarian. So I don't know which kind of parent you are. When you hear this different, find where you fit in, and then where you can adjust, where you can learn more, where you can get better. And if you're doing well, appraise yourself. Authoritarian parents believe that kids should be seen and not heard. Shut your mouth. That's an example. You don't speak when I'm speaking. Okay? Yes, we're not asking the child to speak back and be rude, but you must give the child room to communicate back. You ask questions, explain yourself. And now, authoritarian parent, when it comes to rules, you believe it is my way or the highway. You can't bend, you can't be flexible, you're rigid, and nobody can change your mind or anything. If you don't take your child's feelings into consideration, there's going to be a problem later on in life. And if any of this rings true, you might be an authoritarian parent. Authoritarian parents believe kids should follow the rules without exception. And such parents are famous for saying, because I say so, end of. When a child asks questions, reason behind the rule, mommy, can I stay for another 2 minutes? No, go to bed. No room for conversation. And then the child begins to feel, maybe mommy hates me, daddy hates me, that I can't even talk, I can't speak. And then such children end up growing with a lot of fear, intimidation, and they are shy because they've always been shut down. They can't speak. Authoritarian parents may use punishment instead of discipline. They are 2 different things. Discipline is to teach. Discipline is to correct. Punishment is another thing entirely. So which one are we using, or which one are we used to that we need to unlearn? So rather than teach a child how to make better choices, they've invested in making kids feel sorry and guilty and shameful for their mistakes. Sometimes a child will do something and they'll be like, why did you do it? I don't know. And truthfully, they don't know why they've done what they have done. So our job is to come in and coach and guide and correct. And then for everything we do in life, there are consequences. So we are not excusing consequences for children, but we are making them to understand why what they have done is wrong and the consequences for it. Now that develops their mind. That gives them a broader understanding of what they've done and what they could have done better. They have choices. For instance, if a child picks up my laptop now or his laptop and breaks it, the natural consequences is that he's not going to have a laptop. Maybe for another 6 months. That's a natural consequence for his action. So if he breaks the laptop and I beat the child or punish the child, does he bring the laptop back? No. But the child is going to feel the pain. He's not going to have a laptop for a while. And then we make the child understand that reason. Children of authoritarian parents are at a higher risk of developing self-esteem problems. They're not confident of themselves, because their opinions were not valued. And they may also become hostile. They may become aggressive rather than think about how to do things better in the future. They lash out everything in anger. They're always defensive. Before anything, they answer with defense because that's all they know. Authority, authority, authority. Now, there's a difference from authoritarian and authoritative. There is authoritative parent. And for authoritative parent, we have examples like you put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. You explain the reasons behind your rules. You set limits. You enforce rules, and you give consequences. But you take your child's feelings into consideration. So we see the difference between authoritative and authoritarian. The authoritarian is a jailer kind of approach. A jailer will put you in prison. You have no say, bam, the door is shut, end of story. But authoritative, maybe your lawyer comes and says, okay, let us talk, let's dialogue. What happened? What did you do? Tell me the truth so I can know how to defend you in court. So there is a conversation, there is a relationship that is being built, yet does not change the consequence of what you have done. No, we are not saying spoil the child. No, we are saying the child have a deeper understanding and there is a relationship with you and your child, even as you are disciplined. You set limits, enforce rules, and the child understands what is happening. If those statements sound familiar, you may be an authoritative parent, and then you set real consequences, you guide, you protect, but you put the children's feeling into consideration. Authoritative parents invest time and energy into preventing behavior problems before they even start. They notice it, they see it, foresight, what this child is doing, and it is the step in and deal with it correctively in love, and they put a stop to it. So they're not saying there is room for nonsense, no, but they're doing it in coaching. They're doing it, making the child understand. I'll give an instance. This is me and my dad. You don't want to cross my dad. I can't remember my mom ever hitting me, but my dad, yes. But the good thing about it is this. I ask, what have I done wrong? And I said when he's so upset, it takes time to explain what I have done wrong. Then I will be the one to go and bring the cane. Is it the cane or the belt? When he finishes, I'll say, thank you, Daddy. I'll go to my corner, I'll go and cry. But why did the thank you come in? I have an understanding of why he was beating me. I didn't see him as a bad father. I didn't see him as a criminal. I didn't see him as a jailer. I didn't see him as this man hates me. I saw him that he was correcting me. Even though the beating was painful, even though I was still going to go and cry. So I can call my father authoritative. Now, children raised with authoritative discipline tend to be happy, tend to be successful. They're also more likely to be good at making sound decisions and evaluating safety risk on their own, because what they've made to understand, if you make this choice, this is what happens. If you do this, this is what happens. Like one of the things my dad says to me every time is this: if you get injured in the journey of life, the injury, you will get healed, but the scar will remain. You will live with the scar. My dad says that to me every time. So if I say, Dupe, don't do this, and you do not listen, whatever happens at the end of it, you will bear the brunt. Choices. So I had the choice, okay, do I want to listen to Daddy or I don't want to listen? Do I want to see if the injury is going to be a big one or a small one? Do I actually want to live with the scar? I have a choice to make. And whatever choice I make, I know I'm going to bear the consequences. It's not my daddy's fault. It's not my mommy's fault. Understanding. So the child is able to make sound decisions on their own. And I jump to the permissive parent. Wherever you find yourself in this 4 type of parenting, please learn and learn and unlearn. That's the whole reason for this exercise. For the permissive parent, you set rules, but you rarely enforce them. You just, you're permissive. You by 9 o'clock, you must go to bed. But by 10 o'clock, the children are still running around in the house. Now, if it's different if you're busy or you carried away, or you've gone to bed earlier before them, or you're at work, it's a different thing. But you actually sit there and you're like, it's 9. Let me still leave them. You're not enforcing that rule. You don't give out consequences very often. Now, if you do not go to bed by 9 o'clock, tomorrow, maybe you're not going to watch your special TV game or something. There's no consequences set out. You just allow things to be, most of the time. And then you think your child will learn best with little interference from you. A child cannot learn best on their own. And why would we even use the word interference? The child has to learn everything and almost everything and anything possible. All they can learn from you. You are their God on earth. You are their mentor. You are the mirror they are looking at. You are the image they are looking at. So you need to invest in them. Okay? Now, they are quite forgiving. I think I'm jumping. You might be a permissive parent. Permissive parents are lenient. They just let things go. 1 minute they think the child is wrong, and they're thinking of consequences or boundaries to set out to deal with it. The next minute, well, let's leave the child, Jare. He will learn. Oh my, he will understand. How will the child understand when there's nobody teaching the child? Such permissive parents, they are quite forgiving, and they adopt an attitude of kids will be kids. Children will be children, Jare. Let's leave them. When they do not use consequences, it will affect the children later in life. They will probably also pick the same traits. They may also end up being permissive parents themselves. They may not make those consequences stick. So everybody's going to do what they like at the end of the day. They might give privileges back if a child begs, or they may allow a child to get out of timeout early if they promise to be good. Mommy, I promise to be good, I'll do it again. Okay, yeah, get up. You can go to your room. Okay, now we're not saying we cannot be flexible, but when we tell a child this is the consequences, even though we are not happy, but we have to stick to it so they get the message across that you can't mess with mom, you can't mess with dad. They have to maintain that. Permissive parents usually take on more of a friend role than a parent role. They often encourage their children to talk with them about their problems, but they usually don't put effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behavior. So if any of these things, you're picking anything that seems like what you are doing, let us learn from it. Let us adjust, let us correct ourselves so that we can have better generation, bring about good and better children for the future. Such children may exhibit more behavioral problems as they don't appreciate authority and rules. They often have low self-esteem and may report a lot of sadness. They also are at a high risk of health problems like obesity because they can eat what they like, do what they like. The mother does not even have time to do, or dad, parents don't have time to do healthy food for them. So they just eat anything and they can do anything they like. They have even unhealthy sleep habits. They go to bed when they like. Nobody is enforcing rules, no boundaries in place. You know, so let's look at for that. I'm wanting quickly to uninvolved parent. We've looked at authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and now uninvolved parenting. Uninvolved parenting skills. Now, these ones, you don't ask your child about school or homework. You may have all the discipline and everything there, you know, but they come back from school, welcome. How is school? You don't ask. Which homework did you do? It's not your business. Who upset you? You can't be bothered. You really know where your child is or who they are with. 8 o'clock, your child is not in, and you don't know, where are you? Why are you outside? What is happening? Why are you talking to? What's happening? Why are you still on the phone? Who are you talking to? Check your phones, your child's phone once in a while, see who they're talking to. I don't, some child say, oh, my privacy. In my home, I don't believe in that privacy. Once in a while, we need to peep and see what's going on in their phone, peep and see what they're doing on social media. So uninvolved parents, they are not really concerned about the child's emotional needs. They expect the children to raise themselves. How is that possible? They don't devote much time or energy into meeting children's basic needs. Uninvolved parents may be neglectful, but it's not always intentional. A parent with mental health issues or substance abuse problems, for example, cannot care for a child's physical and emotional needs on a consistent basis because they are not there. Now, sometimes we as parents too, we have our issues we're dealing with, and we actually need help. Now, if you have a lot of emotional problems here, or you're so stressed up, you have to run around to work, you have to do this, you have to do that. Sometimes unintentionally, we neglect our children, and they have to force us to get our attention. Mom, I need to talk to you. Daddy, can you give me 5 minutes? And sometimes we do yeah, I'll come back. I need to quickly send this email. I need to do this quickly. I'll come. And then the 5 minutes is gone again. So sometimes we don't do it intentionally, but we need to watch out so that we don't become an uninvolved parent. We cannot ask the children to develop or grow on their own. We cannot have such oversight. It is dangerous. And sometimes uninvolved parents, they're overwhelmed with other problems, like work, paying bills, managing the household. And I think, if to be honest, uninvolved parenting skills, I think we all get to that stage at some point in life, because we are overwhelmed with life ourselves. We are overwhelmed with bills or work, and we actually don't get really involved in the lives of our children. But if that is not your natural trait, you are able to quickly snap out of it and put your house back in order. But if that is you and that is your life, you need to unlearn it, and you need to learn a new, better skill of parenting. Children with uninvolved parents are likely to struggle with self-esteem issues. They tend to perform poorly in school. They also exhibit frequent behavior problems and rank low in happiness. I'm going to stop here for now. So I don't know if there's any feedback from what I've been saying so far. Anyone at all? Anybody at all? Brother Mike, you are quiet tonight though.
Oh, you've been communicating well.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah, God bless you.
Any points rings home, rings bell? Which parenting skill do we think is the best that we need to adopt? Sister Toyin.
Oh, can I talk?
Yes, please.
All right. I think the hybrid of all these skills should be adopted
Mm,
because each circumstance will call for what should be adopted.
mm. Can you give me an example?
All right. Naturally, I tend to be soft on people.
Mm,
There was a time whenever I was coming back from office, as soon as I arrived in my premises, I would see my boys jumping in. As I arrived in my premises, I was wondering what was really going on until I learned that, okay, I've given them an instruction, which I said they must abide with.
mm.
So they want to flaunt it until I arrive. Then the mom will tell them, oh, your dad is around. They quickly go and do it so that I'll meet them doing such. Even though I didn't realize that I passed the information across authoritatively because I wanted it to be authoritative, even though I love being soft on them to let them learn properly. That's just an example. So it is a blend of what the situation is.
Mm.
And also, I noticed that my two boys, they have some similarities and otherwise.
Mm.
I have to tailor how I train up each of them.
They are two
In
different
particular,
individuals.
yes. So there is one of them, just looking at him with an eye, he understands.
Yes,
The second one, until you go and turn his ears, whatever, before you understand. God bless her.
Amen. Thank you very much for that contribution. Anybody else at all? Mommy Albert, Sister Christine, I know you're just joining. Pastor Stephen.
Can I just add?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe everything that has been pointed out, like bullet points, are good direction. But saying that, parenting, I believe, is like individual to an individual home. Like Brother Mike just said, different scenario, different home, different parents, different personalities. Like Yoruba people say,
What we do in my house might be an abomination in somebody else's house.
Yeah. So parenting is just a God's grace to help parents to bring up a child. God bless.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Pastor Stephen.
Yes, ma'am. And I just going to go with what you said there, Sister Christine. It's an individual thing. You got to know what works for your own household. As I was coming at home this evening, I was talking to somebody on the way home. To that extent, you got to know what works for you, one, and you got to know what works for your child. And knowing that the child that you're interacting with to another child, like the way that I brought up my three is different every step of the way, even though the methodology may be the same in view of what you were, you look at my style of parenting when I first started, and I think even till now it's still very authoritative, but I've learned with time how to reduce that authoritative attitude to one that is all inclusive. I've learned. So what I'm saying is that you gotta know that your children are individual, and you gotta go with that individuality, recognize what their individual like are, gotta be mindful of that. And as children are growing older, you are learning different things in the process as well. So all those things over time hopefully will help an individual, certainly help me, to know how to do this to the best. And like you said, but you can change. You can change if you want to. Like if you start off like a bull in a china shop where you just go in,
Authoritarian. Mhm.
yeah, you go in and you smash everything. What do they? There's an old saying: if you throw stones in a glass house, it affects you. What is it? Is it the Yoruba adage? Is it tabasoko soja?
Ara ile ẹni ní bà.
Right. So you got to be careful, and you've got to be ready to learn. You've got to be ready to evolve. You've got to be open-minded, especially if you. And we've been talking about things to do with here and now, and when we were growing up, how things were, how things have evolved. We've got to understand that things are continuously evolving and will continue to evolve, but it doesn't take away the need for you to be the best parent you're meant to be for your children. You can change. I've done it. Trust me. That's a discussion for another day. And I am changing. Bless you, man.
Thank you very much. From what I've heard so far, so I believe we all agree that the authoritative parenting skill is the best, where you're able to set boundaries and all. Being an authoritarian, you're not going to get the best out of your children. And we've all come to also understand that at some point in life, not intentionally, we become a unevolved parent or permissive. No, unevolved is even, I'm not even going there at all. Permissive parenting skill, probably because we are overwhelmed with work, we're tired, and we're not just really seeing anyone but ourselves, because we are also drained, and that's why I was saying, one of the reasons why I said how nice it would have been for the first 5 years for one parent to stay at home, at least the first 5 years. How nice it would have been if there's no economic issues, you have to go get money to pay bills and all that. How nice it would have been. But then, from today's topic, what from all these examples we have mentioned, explained, and different type of parenting skills, what does our children, what do they need from us? We've mentioned they need discipline, they need security, they need finance. What else do we think our children need from us as parents? Any contribution from anyone? Anyone at all? Daddies in the house, mommies, what does our children need from us?
I think they need our love.
Well,
and they need consistency.
Consistency. Thank you very much, ma. Those two are very important. If we say go to bed 9 o'clock today, we can't change our mind and say, okay, go to bed 10 o'clock. We need to maintain 9 o'clock. Sometimes children can be mischievous. They may try to like, mommy, yeah, it's okay. I can do 10. I wake up early. We need to stick to it. Consistency. Love. When we talk about love, in what ways do we actually show this love to our children? Anybody at all? We have a few more minutes. How do we show this love? Some other examples. What about empathy? Do our children need empathy from us? Or pity? Do they need sympathy or do they need empathy?
I believe as well that by correcting them, it's because we care.
Mhm.
By chastising them, by telling them no, is loving them.
Yes,
Otherwise,
ma'am.
if you don't care and if you don't love somebody, you will not correct them. Thank
Well
you.
said, ma. But then even when we are correcting them, if we don't do it in the right way, they will not see it as love. So there is like Anik Belena Konabo. You know, there's a way I can say good morning, and I can also say good morning. So we can't say just because they're our children, you know, and we can just talk to them anyhow. We can throw things at them anyhow. We can, no, it's no, and because I am the mom or because I'm the dad, you know. But then if we say no with an explanation, sometimes it may not work, depends on the scenario, because on what it is about. But there are some things where they need an explanation. It gives them choices. It opens their mind. So tomorrow they will not come back and ask you, because why? They already have an understanding of the reason why you said no. They will not come back tomorrow. And they are the ones where we say no, and there's no need for explanation. So it depends on the scenario and circumstances. I was talking about empathy. When we talk about empathy for other people or anyone at all, most especially for our children, is understanding where they are coming from and where they are at. For instance, a child comes back from school, you know, and is been beaten. The first thing should not be, you know, about why, what, did you get into fight again? Are you being naughty again? No. Well, actually, come down to that child's level. Try and feel the pain the child is feeling at the moment. The child is feeling down. The child has been beaten or bullied. How would you feel if you were bullied? How would you feel if somebody is beating you? We want to come down to that level first and then relate with them. Now, later on, we can come to, don't do this next time. You made a wrong choice here. You could have done things better, you know, and then you wouldn't have gotten yourself in the position where somebody will beat you. But the first thing we want to do is show empathy. So our children need a lot of empathy from us. We going to their level where they are at the time, understanding where they are at. Why? Okay, everybody has a job, everybody's working. Why can't you get a job? Try and understand the reason why, and then go into that child's level. Try and see that, okay, it's you that has not been able to get a job. And then you can find a way to help. But then the danger with empathy is this. If you stay too long in that empathy window, you might get stuck. So as parents, even when we go down to a child's level, we also need to know when to come out and embrace the situation. I don't know if I'm making sense with the explanation. Does it make sense, Sama?
Oh, yes.
Any
Oh,
other
yes,
one?
getting down.
Enthusiastic. We need to be enthusiastic. We need to be interested in our children. Our children want that. Is it football they are playing? They want us to be interested in it. Or is it artwork? They want us to be interested. Oh, this is beautiful. This is nice. I'll buy you another pack of ink. You know, show interest in what they are doing. With a lot of parents, you know, they do every other thing for their children, but they are not emotionally involved. When we talk about emotionally involved, Pastor Stephen has talked a bit of that when he did What Monkey See Monkey Do. When was the last time you hugged your child? Or you said, I love you? That's being involved emotionally. Being involved emotionally is also asking, how was your day in school? How was your day at work? That's being involved, being concerned, you know? And then it also brings about positive interaction. So,
I just say,
yes, sir.
just say something, yes, sister, because I know you're in a hurry now, rushing through this. But when I just wanted to add, when you ask the question of your child and you ask them how they are, I think it's important, as you said, sister, you know, when you go down to their level, and I mean literally go down to their level. especially if you're, they're down here and you're up there. If we're talking about children that age, go down to the level. It sends another clearer message of your desire to actually connect with them. And sometimes that's all they need. But one thing that I also wanted to add that is that when we ask the question, let's not be afraid of the silence before they answer, because they may not answer immediately. Ask the question once and let them speak. Hold on for 30 seconds. Hold on for a minute. Let them, maybe they have to process the question.
Or
that you're
rephrase
asking
the
them.
question even.
Yeah, or rephrase the question, but try and ask one question at a time and wait for the answer. Wait for the answer.
Thank you very much. Definitely, I'm rushing it. We've talked about strong boundaries and routines. There's something we always ignore: mental health, mental issues in children. Our children need us to understand where they are at mentally. Some children might be able to respond to things quickly, and some might take longer time. We cannot compare. So, and some children can deal with, routine changing. Maybe normally it goes to bed 6 o'clock, and for some reason, as a parent, you feel it's better to go 9 o'clock. Some children will okay with it; they will switch easily. Some will have a challenging time with that. We need to help them to process that time. So we're talking about patience in everything we do, even in the setting rules, in setting boundaries, in everything we do with them. We need to give them time. We need to give them time. They will get there. But then at which pace? It's not always going to be at our pace.
Right.
So let's give them time to get there. I said, get up, go and do this now. If you don't do it, give them time. Now, it does not take your authority away. Does not say you're being soft. You probably are giving the next 2 minutes. You're giving them that time. So the child can process, okay, in the next 2 minutes, if I don't leave here, I'm going to get into trouble. I give you the next 1 minute, or in the next 10 minutes, if either your program finishes or the game you're watching finishes or not, in the next 10 minutes, you have to go to bed. So the child programs his mind. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to leave here or I'm going to get into trouble. So if you come back, time up, that child's time, the child's not going to feel bad or like, mom's come again, dad is coming again, it's always that. They're not going to feel like that. You're giving them time. Again, different child, different children. And another one again I want to look at before we leave is, don't ask. I've talked about time. Which one again do I want to look at? Neglect, joy, playfulness. Let's avoid neglecting our children. You might say, oh, my children's eating, they have clothes, I've given them everything. So how am I neglecting them? When was the last time you had a chat with your child? They want to talk to you. They want to talk to you. Create the avenue, make room. Maybe you don't really have to like cartoons, but because you want to open that avenue, to attune to them, you want to open that avenue where they can talk to you, watch cartoon with them. Watch the cartoon with them. And then you can ask questions. Oh, that's funny. Who is that? Conversation starts. Oh, they tell, mommy, you didn't know? Oh, that's Jerry, that's Tommy, that's the cat. And then from there, you can even bring up important conversation. Or you can even use the cartoon to give life teachings, opportunity. It's not always, my friend, go to your room, I want to watch Lollywood. Or it's Lollywood. But I want to watch my own Nigerian movie. Watch what they are watching, not because you really like it, but because you want to spend time with your child, because you want to, and feel their joy with them. You want to be playful with them. You want to spend time with them. That goes a long way. Where do I stop? Do I stop here? Celebrate their success. It's not always negativity, negative. And African parents, we do that a lot. When there's complaint, we can shout, we can do, we can talk. When they done well in school, we don't remember to praise them. Or in anything in life. Or probably you ask a child to do the dishes and they did it very well. Oh, well done, you did the dishes very well. They want to feel pride. They want to even feel happy that they've pleased you, that they've done something right, you know? So it's important we appraise no matter how little the success is, it goes a long way. So it's not about just giving them their daily bread. There's much, much more. Have time, go out with them once in a while, once in a month, once in 2 months, even if just to go to McDonald's or go to the park, stretch out and just play and just talk. You know, from playfulness, they exhibit attitude, they exhibit character, they exhibit some traits, and it will be an opportunity to say, oh, don't do that. Next time, do it this way. If you do it this way, this is the consequences. If you do it that way, this is the result you will get. You know, so in every opportunity, in every playfulness, it's time for teaching. While you're watching cartoon with them, you are teaching them something. While they are doing the dishes, you are teaching them something. While you're spending time to pray together as a family, you are teaching them something. While you tell them, we need to go to church, and they're like, oh, Mom, I'm tired. You were not tired to go to school, so you cannot be tired to go to church. We are teaching them responsibility. It may look like nothing, but they are picking from every little thing that is happening in the family. Anybody wants to add one more thing before we wrap up? Anything anybody wants to add?
I was going to write. I was writing.
Okay, go on, man.
Sorry. Yeah, I think, I don't know if we discussed this, you know, letting your children know about your past. Because most of the time, we tend to like, you know, eat ourselves from our, I don't know, what I've been through is so ugly. I can't discuss with my a child or children. Or they're going to look at me one kind or something. Because easing them, there are ways we can present this. I'm not saying, okay, no, that was it. No, every time I sit my children down, darlings, you see, life is not a bed of roses. I've been through the bend. I've been through so many things in life that I actually tried to kill myself. And the last one was, Mom, you poor thing. Why? Okay, I told her why. And since then, you know, I noticed a change in the life of this child, especially the last one. You know, we are the grown one, the baba that are having children of their own now. It does, your child can never be so grown that you were like, okay, it's not like you want to put yourself out there, but you want to let them learn that, look, this is the part that mom brought, that mom slept. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to fall, but please don't go through there. Don't go through there. We're not necessarily saying this to spook them, but you're telling them about the facts of life so they can learn from it. So I think especially we Blacks, sorry to mention, Black people, no, I can't let my children know that, I can't this, I can't that. But if that child may want to face that, I'm not saying, because life is not guaranteed, to be honest with you, you know, that child would have known that, mom mentioned this. Oh, dad mentioned this. Oh, this is how I can tackle this. This is how I can go about this. So may the Lord continue to lead us aright.
Thank you, ma. God bless you.
I'll stop there.
God bless you, ma. Pastor Stephen says, life is a bed of roses, but the stems have thorns. So while you're trying to get the rose, you can get your hand with blisters and all that. So in life, we have to be very, very careful. But how careful can we be? May the good Lord help us. I will just add this one to it for what mommy has said. That what mommy has said, mommy Opiki, is 100%. And I've seen that work, with my children. I virtually tell them everything. If you want my children to give you my life story, they will tell you. And why do I tell them? I don't have any thing to hide. But I tell maybe in conversations or in something they are going through, I use my experience to teach them. So whatever you're going through is a big deal. Yes, I know, but you can get through it. If I can survive this, if I can survive that, you can as well. So who is the best teacher for your child, if not you? Who is the best mentor for your child, if not you? Who is the greatest example? Who are they looking up to, if not you? So tell me, what are they going to look up to if they don't know your story? They only know that he's successful, that he is a doctor. They didn't know the pain you went through to become a doctor. They don't know the nights or the candles you had to burn before you became a doctor. They didn't even know that you had to go do a cleaning job at some point, to pay your school fees or something. They don't know the pain before the gain. Well, and they're going to feel, oh, it's a bed of roses. Everything is just happening around us. They don't know the times or you spend crying in your bed, on your own, on your knees. They have no clue. So they're just going to go into life like that, believing, yeah, it's just like that. So my son is growing up now, and then he has challenges at work and things, and I'm like, okay, you're getting there. And he's come, no, mom, actually, I was behaving so nice. I did everything right. This person is just antagonizing me. And I said, welcome to adulthood. And then I give examples and examples and examples. It's not the end of the world. Pick up your bed, go back to work tomorrow. So our examples, life examples, help them a lot, gives them boldness, strengthens their core beliefs. And it is very, very important. I'll give another example. A lot of parents, especially men, I've had this conversation with a couple of men. Even when they're having financial challenges, they hide it from everybody, and they hide it from their children. Well, maybe it's a man thing, but to me, from my personal experience, I don't think it's the best. I stand corrected. I'm talking of what I have tried. Because when I tell my kids, guys, your mama is broke, so everybody sit up, sit right. No wasting food, no nothing, no special privileges for the next 1 month or 2 months. And they understand. And the moment I have money, I don't need to tell them, they know. So everybody's, oh yeah, let's go eating, let's eat out tonight, or let's do something. They know mommy has money. And when mommy is broke, they know. I sit them down. Guys, you want this, you want that. It's not possible this month. Give me another 2 months. I have the money, okay, but then there's a project or something. Let us talk to them. Let us explain to them. It also helps them shape and plan their finances and their life as they grow up as well. Thank you all so much. Anyone wants to add to what I just said now? Men, about finances, talking to your children about your finances. Brother Mikey.
I'm tired.
Brother
I'm
Mike.
literally.
Hello, man.
About finances, do you tell your children when you are broke or when you don't have money?
Yes.
Oh, I make it known to all of them.
I do as well.
Good.
I think it's necessary. I think it's important, because if you show your vulnerability to them, they will understand that life is real. And, it's important that they understand. Like you said, Sister D, if they don't learn it from you, they'll go and learn it from somewhere else. And when they come back with the shenanigans they've learned outside, you'll be wondering who taught them. You don't, somebody. So I think it's important to tell them everything within reason, because and depending on their age as well, and their maturity to be able to handle certain things, got to know what's right and
Mhm.
when to tell what you think right to them. Sis, I gotta go. I'm tired. I love
Thank
you.
you so much. God bless you, Pastor Stephen. Brother Mike, God bless you. Sister Christine, Mommy El Bethel. It's an honor to have you tonight. Wow, having you tonight. She's a very, very busy woman. She's super busy. God
Yes.
bless you, ma. Sister Tosin, God bless
God
you.
bless you all.
And everyone on Facebook, in and out. Mommy
Yeah.
Adeola Keshiro, God bless you. Now, good night, everyone. Until next week. And God help us being a good parent. Night night.